What's up, everyone? My name is Mike. This is my brother-in-law, Craig, and this is Full Metal Podcast Brotherhood. So this is something that me and Craig have been talking about for a while. We both love anime, manga, love comic books, and so we wanted to do something that like together. We were discussing and talking about it, and one of the cool things that I thought about us doing was actually going through his favorite manga, which is One Piece. So, out of all the manga that I have read, One Piece is one that I've not taken that journey quite yet. Although I have started it though now for the purpose of this podcast and everything. But yeah, so we're here to talk about One Piece and to just document the journey of someone as knowledgeable and expert as Craig is on the subject to someone who knows absolutely hardly anything about it. We're just going through it and like my thoughts, his thoughts, and everything. But yeah, I'm Michael. I am 28 years old. Live in San Diego, and this is my brother-in-law, Craig.
Yeah, I'm Craig. I'm also 28, turning 29 here, almost turning 30. So I've been reading One Piece for about 16 years. So I got all this stuff behind me, courtesy of, there my mic goes, where my camera goes. But all this stuff here, courtesy of Mike here. He got me a lot of this stuff. So I kind of keep away from the merch, but I'm an avid One Piece fan. Been reading for forever. Manga and anime, love it all. I'm excited to hear your opinions on this show here, or this manga here. So we decided to break it down here for you. So we're only going to be doing from Romance Dawn to Baratie today. So I think it's the first 4 arcs. I think. So I guess we'll start with that. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
And
I'm still reading. I'm only a little bit past that right now. So as we're making these videos, it's going to be actually like, hey, I just got done reading this week. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, which I think is great. I think that's going to be awesome for you, man. Like every arc has its emotional impact and has its really good talking points. So I think this is good to get the foundation out of the way, and then once you start getting into some of the longer arcs, like we're going to be hitting the ground running here. So it's good to get all this first. So yeah, man. So what was it like when I told you it was like 1,156 chapters and running? Like, what was your first thought there? You ever tackled anything that big?
Gosh, closest thing obviously that I can think of would be that I've read Naruto. But even that's not as much as One Piece. Obviously, though, it's still a lot. Yeah, it is. It is. But I've read things like Naruto, and then shorter things like Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Fire Force, Attack on Titan. Lots of other things. But reading something that was, it's obviously well over 1,000 chapters now. Definitely was a little bit daunting. And to hear that, I think one of the main things I remember hearing a lot though was that even you've said it a lot, right? Is that the manga, even though it is well over 1,000 chapters, it's actually like really perfectly paced though. Like the pacing of the manga is actually great though. It's the show where a lot of that slacks, and a lot of people talk about the filler, which I'm used to that though also with Naruto, obviously all the filler episodes and everything. But so it was a little bit daunting, a little bit nervous, first to think over 1,000 chapters of like the same story that's been going on for since the 90s.
I know, man. Yeah, it's a big ask to ask somebody to pick it up, and I hear that a lot with a lot of the like new One Piece fans, or like a lot of people trying to get into it, is like the anime is the first thing they go to because that's what they're most familiar with, and the pacing in the anime, I will say, sucks. It's not only with filler, but they like reuse frames. So like one episode, you'll see some original animation, and then the next episode, like you'll see the same original animation. You'll only get maybe about like 5 minutes of new content per episode, and it just sucks. So as somebody who's trying to enjoy the series for the first time, that's why I really recommended you going through the manga.
Well, because another thing was that I think it was I didn't even mention this to you yet. The other day, I actually turned on the first like 3 or 4 episodes or so, and like it just even starts in a way different place than when the manga started. I was obviously it starts off with like Kid Luffy,
Yeah.
and in manga. And this one it starts off immediately, pretty much whenever he's in the barrel
Yeah.
and Alvida's ship, right? They find
Yeah.
So I was like, what in the heck? Like it's just I could tell already that I was like, oh yeah, this the manga is definitely where it's at.
Yeah, they definitely take some liberties there. I mean, nowadays, like it's pretty good 1-to-1. But like when
Mm-hmm.
they started, it really was like they were trying to catch up with what was already there.
Yeah.
And they did take a lot of liberties with where they started. So I mean, I guess that's a good segue point, man. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
you started, so you watched the first couple episodes of the first episode about of the anime. So let's talk about Romance Dawn, I guess. Like first part. Like I
That was
wanted
fun
to get
read.
like you were saying that you've watched or you've read and watched, like Attack on Titan, Naruto, anime like that. Like they're typically more serious. Like they do have their goofy moments, right? I mean, Attack on Titan is super serious, but like let's compare it to the longest you've read. It's probably Naruto. One of the longer running. Like the big three were Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and One Piece for the longest time. And each of them had their similarities, but like One Piece was by far like the more goofy and more childish seen by the public of all three. So I wanted to first, like, going from like anime like that to like One Piece, like I wanted to get your first opinions on like first like the art style of the whole thing. Like I know it's very different from anything else you probably
definitely. One thing I'll say that I really like Oda's art style a lot. I think the way that he draws a lot of the characters, especially since a lot of them, it's all these like random, crazy looking pirates.
Iconic, man. Like Akira Toriyama, like they got this art style that just
exactly,
out.
The only thing I will say about Oda is that all the girls have the same face.
Yeah,
they all have the same face, but like all the dude pirates, everyone looks so like unique though is the word, and like funny and cool though. I like that.
Oda definitely has his templates with like females, and you notice that as you go on, like there is a typical Oda template for like a female character, and then there's a typical Oda template for like an old female character. Like there's
I see it already with like the regular younger female, because I'm already seeing like Nami, the lady who worked at like the bar or whatever. In this first looks around, then Nami's stepsister. All these people and everything.
They definitely and you'll notice at post time skip too that he definitely has his type of woman that he likes to draw. Like you'll see, and you've probably already seen it from like other areas, but definitely likes to. He knows how to keep the young boys entertained. That's for sure with that sort of stuff. But here nor there, like we're talking about Romance Dawn. So first opinion. So in Romance Dawn, Luffy goes. You see young Luffy. Like one of the first things you see him do is like stab himself in the eye.
You know
what I mean?
That caught me off guard.
Like first couple panels, the little kid's like, "I want you to take me seriously." Stabs himself. And everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Right? So I wanted to hear what your opinions were of like Luffy as a protagonist comparative to like a Naruto or a Goku.
Well, in that first part, so the Romance Dawn, right? I wasn't sure if this was gonna be a similar thing to like Naruto, right? Where it's like, I want to be Hokage, like every sentence, like that was the main thing, honestly. I've heard that it changes obviously a lot, or things change, right? But that's what turned me off from even going forward with Black Clover. Right. Was what's the main character? Austin.
Austin.
So him talking about being the wizard, whatever it was, right? That threw me off personally. But with Luffy, I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep reading this, But I like how he talked about being, like he said, like be the king of the pirates, right? Whatever, or finding the One Piece, whatever it was. But it's still just I don't know. It still seemed more like lighthearted, and even more than just like finding the One Piece. It was just like, I want to be a pirate though. In general. Like I just want to do this thing. Whatever. But like he didn't make it as annoying though as some anime and manga main MCs do though.
100%. Like he's a very straightforward. I think Luffy, what sets Luffy apart from like a Naruto, I mean, he's almost Goku-like in a sense where he's very direct with what he does. Like Goku, Goku's more of like they're both kind of dopes, right? Goku and Luffy. But like I feel like Goku has a little more thought behind him than like Luffy does. Luffy just like I say, there's no filter. He says what he means, and he means what he says. Like,
No,
you'll
yeah,
notice,
I've already seen that. Yeah,
yeah,
from where I'm
it's
at. Yeah, he's
always
just
great from where you're
if
at.
he
Yeah.
says something like he's not just saying it just to say it.
Yeah, he means it. He means it. And and you'll notice. I want you to like keep an eye out. Like, he never has a thought bubble. Like, there's no
Yeah.
like other characters will have like an internal monologue.
Yeah.
His internal monologue is his speech. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah,
think
I can see that definitely because obviously I've already seen like Zoro's, Nami's, Usopp's, everything. But
Yeah.
Haven't seen him with thought bubble. He just was like, hey, I'm doing this, or like, hey,
Yeah.
you're in my way, or like,
Yeah.
hey, like we're going here.
Yep. And if he's silent, he's just not thinking at all. He's just kind of observing, So I really like that about him. He's very direct, and that comes into play a lot later, which is really cool. And I wanted to talk about some of the themes that One Piece brings to the table. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about before that would be when Shanks is in the bar in Romance Dawn. Like, that's a very important moment later on. Like, when he's in the bar at Romance Dawn and those bandits come up.
Yeah,
and they're like
the mountain guys, whatever. Yeah,
the mountain bandits come up, and like Luffy's thinking that Shanks is going to be all big and bad, right? And go against the mountain bandits because they're insulting him, and Shanks just kind of
like laughs it off.
Laughs it off. They spill
and
alcohol
the crew laughs it off too, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted that when I first read it, that's really confused me, right? Like, what did you think of that? Like, what was your take?
So, we're gonna touch on this again later.
Yeah.
Okay. I already know. Whenever we get to Syrup Village.
Yeah.
With Usopp's story. With Kuro.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But I always pay attention whenever you have a character like that in the spotlight. Obviously, like our MC, whatever, is like looking up to, or there's just a character that like you see get publicly humiliated to a certain degree, right? And instead of like an immediate, harsh, rash response, they just like chuckle it off, or they don't do anything. I'm just like, oh yeah, don't mess with him. Like, he's, like, he's not like if he wanted to, he would. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he's just laughing off. He's like, dude, like, this is just some bandit. Like, it's not even anything serious, So I immediately saw that and was just like, oh yeah, that means that he would F him up. He's just not even worried about this dude like freaking out over a beer though. Whatever.
Yeah, 100%. I think he was also like, you see it later on too, like on top of the fact that he could just whoop him at any time, like they knew they could, but also at the same time, like I feel like he knew he like he says after Luffy the mountain he leaves, mountain bandits come back, Luffy's in the bar, they start talking bad about Shanks, and Luffy stands up for him. He's like, hey, like, don't talk about Shanks like that.
Yeah.
And then they take him outside and they whoop on him, right?
Yep.
And Shanks comes back and he's like, what's the matter, Luffy? I thought your fist was like a pistol, like, what's going on? He's like making fun of Luffy for standing up for him. I think Shanks knew that, like, if he started a problem, since like they're even if he did start a problem, right? He could have taken them all out, but that probably would have put a target on the village that he was a part, like he was stationed at. Right? So like there's a message there, I think, is like violence begets violence, and like if he just went out and like killed unreasonably, right? That doesn't make him a man, right? And I think that really taught Luffy some kind of restraint, because he was just thinking, oh yeah, I can go around and beat everybody up, like. Seeing that and living through that, you can see that.
I noticed that too, because it's like with a lot of like pirates that we've seen so far, right? Is that they're actually going into these towns and like ravaging them. I mean, obviously this has been, that little bit, right? That's the only part that I've gotten so far, obviously, of Shanks.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but it seems like him and his crew aren't like the worst, at least. From what I've seen so far, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like Luffy or even like the bartender lady, right? Like they're not afraid of like, talking with them or dealing with them, or they didn't operate out of fear, it seems, at least, right? Or whatever. Like they were at least a little bit respected though, whatever. Like Shanks talking to kids.
100%. Like they're all about freedom and having fun, and I think that's what really, appealed to Luffy. It was like, he's been stuck in this village, and there's these guys that are just laughing and just having a good time, right? And he's like, I want to do that, really inspired him. So piggybacking off of that, now that we got the Shank stuff out of the way, what do you think about Luffy eating the devil fruit? Like, what do you think about the devil fruit power system? Like, how is that comparative to like a Naruto or?
I thought it was pretty funny because I think we see him eating it right in the bar, just like sitting there, and like no one's even paying any attention to him, and he's
like
just like eating it. He's just like yeah.
Yeah, it's like one frame, and you don't even see him like you
we
just
didn't even
see
see him
the
like take it
swirls on the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think he was like eating like a loaf of bread at first, and then like a piece of meat, and then it was like the devil fruit or something, which was pretty funny, and no one even noticed it or anything. I like the devil fruits. I think they're really cool. I think that was one of the things that definitely made me really love things like Naruto, right? Like all the different power systems and all the different ways that they use, their abilities with like ninjutsu and like just there's so many different things, man. Especially like even just getting in like to the Itachi and Sasuke and all them with how they use the Sharingan. There's so many different things, right? So I like learning different power systems or the way that Curse Energy and JJK and everything, right? So using all these things. So learning more about the Devil Fruit is cool. I think I've only maybe seen, I don't know, maybe two or three right now.
I think you've seen two total. I think you've seen Luffy and Buggy.
Yeah,
because nobody on Usopp's Island has
there was a third one that we see that you kind of told me about with like the storytelling. Because I was like, what? Who is this?
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think those are the ones that I've seen. Yeah. So far. But I think they're really cool though. I think it's neat. That so they don't know what it is though before they eat it, right? Like it just looks like fruit, right? They don't know what the power it could be, right?
I mean, there is yes and no. Like there is something called the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia that like they hint at. So like later on, they talk about a book that like catalogs all the devil fruits, right? And so there are some fruits that like they look a certain way. So like the gum fruit is always going to look like that, right? Or like there's something called like in the future there's a fruit called the paw fruit, and it's always going to look a certain way, right?
Okay, so there can be more than one of a single one, like there.
Not that we know of. And there's like special there. I don't want to, without spoiling anything for you. There may be exceptions. But as far as we know, there can only be one devil fruit at a time of that power. So there's only one gum fruit. There's only one chop fruit. There's only one slip fruit. All those different. So there's like a ton of them, right? But the reason they're so rare is because they really only appear in the Grand Line for some reason. Like there are some in like each of the blues, like the East Blue, West Blue, Short North Blue, but they're very rare. And that's why, like, out of all, even Don Krieg, who's like the strongest guy in the, we'll talk about him later. He's the strongest guy in the East Blue, apparently, right? He doesn't have a devil. And he goes to the Grand Line, he comes back, he gets whooped.
He's whooped on.
Yeah. So,
makes sense, okay.
Yeah, so there's only one for each power, which is interesting because it gives a unique flair to like each character. Now that again, that may change. That there may be some caveats to that, coming up, but that's later down the line. Without spoiling anything, I don't want to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we get out of Romance Dawn, right? So Luffy leaves the island. Oh, one other big thing before we go out of Romance Dawn, we got to talk about Shanks losing his arm because there's something important there too.
Yeah, that was something that threw me off because I think I immediately like texted you, I think, or called you about it, and I was like, hold up, I was like, so people have devil fruit, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, from what I've seen so far, obviously the manga is that there are certain people though that don't have devil fruits, but they're like either strength or speed. It's like OP though.
Yeah.
So I was like, Shanks just like teleported basically into the ocean, however far out, Luffy was, right? And just like boom, he's there as soon as the guy like chomped down. Yeah. So I was like, all right, it's like okay, he's fast as hell.
Yeah, with no boat, no nothing. Like he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like on the ground. He's like,
just out there.
I let him take Luffy, and then immediately as Luffy's in the water, the Sea King's
Yep.
coming after him. He's there. And one of the things I wanted to ask you too is like, what did you think about him giving it the death stare? Like the thing like ate his
Yeah,
arm.
that thing was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm backing up.
Yeah, that comes into play later. So keep a note on that, like him just being able to
Okay.
do that. So that's
Okay.
something that I want you to think about his speed. Like Shanks is just like he's showing us a lot of things that come out later.
Yeah.
So just think of
he
Shanks
already
and,
showed like the in the bar, like the pure like humility, right? And
Yeah.
not being able to like pop off if someone disrespects him, whatever. That also showed me how much like his crew like
Oh,
is
yeah.
behind him
Trust
though
you.
too, and like
Yeah.
believes him, you know, and they're like, we're not even worried about him. Like we don't even have to like stand up for this dude, like who's
100%.
talking crazy to our captain. And
Yeah.
then seeing him and Muggy as kids, right?
Yeah.
So you know, yeah, and then what happened with what'd you call it? The sea monster? What are they called?
They call them Sea Kings.
The Sea Kings, and that's one of the smaller ones,
Yeah,
right?
they call
Compared
that
to
one. That one's called the Lord of the Coast, is what they called it. So that's like their
okay,
local Sea King, and he's kind of a small one. He's a very
yeah,
small one compared to the other ones, but
yeah,
there's like millions of them around, and they're different shapes and sizes. And in the East Blue, West Blue, North Blue, South Blue, and all the regular oceans, they're kind of small and they're very
right.
far and few between. But like I was telling you earlier, I know we talked about this, but like when they get to the Grand Line, there's tons of them, and they're giant,
Right, yeah.
and they're crazy. And we actually get to see some of them later on
Okay.
when they start heading there. So we talked about that. They leave. So Shanks leaves.
Yep.
Gives Luffy
10
the
years
straw
later.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gives Luffy the straw hat. So that's one of the other themes one of the things that I wanted to talk about too is he's always going to have the straw hat. His name is Straw Hat Luffy. That's his pirate name, right?
Yeah.
So the whole goal here is for him to become a great pirate and then give the hat back to Shanks. So that's where we're at there. We end with that. He leaves. He punches the Sea King, like one shots it, and then he's off to greener pastures to figure things out. So Luffy's super lucky, right? Like he leaves Romance Dawn. He's kind of unlucky and lucky at the same time. Like immediately he leaves, beats the Sea King, and then gets sucked into a whirlpool.
In the whirlpool, yeah.
Right? It's funny, right? Like then after that he after he gets sucked up into the whirlpool, he meets Kobe and Alvida.
Yep.
And Kobe's one that I wanted to talk about too. Like he's an important character. He's like the first person that we meet and we see Luffy interact with, aside from the people in his village and Shanks, right? So I know Kobe. He's like people think of him as like a crybaby when they first see him, and he is, right? He's very weak and very meek, and he's just subservient to this big old pirate lady, right?
Yeah. Big Alvida. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not until, and this is where I wanted to go into one of the core themes of One Piece. It's dreams and following your dream, right? And Luffy tells Kobe he wants to become king of the pirates. And like Kobe, he's like, I really want to join the Navy, but I'm too afraid of Alvida to go and join the Navy. And then Luffy basically like, yeah, you're worthless, dude. You're weak. You don't want to follow your dreams. Like, what are you talking about? He kind of razzes him about it. Right? And on the surface, like when I first read it, I'm like, man, Luffy's being a dick. Like, why is he, why is he talking like that? But like, the more you analyze, the more you realize he's trying to goad him into like, standing up for himself, following his dream. Yeah. And it really isn't until Luffy or until Kobe acknowledges it and tells Alvida off that like Luffy actually stands up for him. He's like, all right, bro, like you actually wanna get in the game, follow your dream. I'm gonna help you out, right? So that's a recurring theme in the mangas. Like Luffy typically doesn't help people who don't want to help themselves. So if you're like,
I can see that.
If you're like, oh man, like I wish I could do this, Luffy's not going to step up and make your way for you. If he likes you and it sees you as a friend and you want to follow your dream and he sees you as somebody who's on that level, like he'll stand up for you and help you out. But you got to be able to help yourself, which is I feel like it's super important, right? Whereas like you compare that to like a Naruto or or a Goku, right? Like they're just doing it because they want to help people, right? Luffy
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a bone in his body like that. Like he wants to
Mm-hmm.
help people who want to help themselves. And
Yeah.
if that turns out to be a good thing, then great, right? But he's got his own dream, and he has
Yeah.
his friends he wants to take care of. So that's one thing I thought was interesting. Wanted to point that out to you. So Kobe is a recurring character. So we find Kobe. We head off. We head off to find our next crewmate. So this is still within the Romance Dawn arc.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the next island over where they're at, so that Kobe can join the Navy, right?
Yeah.
And when they get there, the Navy's a bunch of assholes, or they're just
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're
Uh-huh.
like patrolling this town, and basically there's the guy named Axehand Morgan apparently, who's oppressing the village.
His son's
Right?
asshole.
Yeah, right. So like they're like he's a little spoiled brat, and his dad is like some tyrants, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point that out because like that, what Axehand Morgan is, like however jerky he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is like a precursor to other villains that are coming up, like some of the major villains.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you, like, your first impressions of the Navy there. Like, what did you think of them? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I definitely I wasn't sure what to expect because I remember like the Navy or like Marines being a thing, like hearing about that just being a thing in One Piece in
yeah,
general over the years. But I was never sure if they were like this greater power, like good, you know, what I mean, like
yeah,
in the gray area or whatever. So it was definitely interesting seeing first impression of being like the little spoiled brat though coming
yeah,
down, like making people like bow to him and all kinds of stuff for
right,
this little fugly haircut and
yeah,
everything. But yeah, it was definitely it was cool seeing. One thing I appreciate is that just the designs, right?
yeah,
Of them having like all like the uniforms though, with the fortress, and even like Axel Morgan's design, you know, that's
yeah,
like again going back to what I said earlier about Oda. It's like appreciating like the art and how he draws these characters to be so unique, and some of them like goofy and silly
yeah.
looking.
At the
Some of
same
them are just
time,
like yeah,
like
cool.
he looks like he literally has an axe. It's like shoved into
Yeah,
his arm. It's
exactly.
just
Like
like
the butt
poking
ends
out the
just like
side.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's really he's intimidating, and he's also goofy at the
Yeah.
same time. It's a good balance. It's a good balance of
Mhm.
stuff.
And it's even crazy though. It's crazy though. I will say being where I'm at though now to like how weak Axel Morgan
Yeah,
is
right.
though compared to the people that like, I'm seeing him now, which I'm sure it even gets like worse though.
Yep.
Obviously.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like power scaling is definitely a thing in this, and you'll
Mhm.
notice like Arlong is probably going to be the
Yeah.
strongest guy you've seen so far, or going to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm only
Um,
I'm halfway through our long part
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. So like he's a fishman. He's like super strong. We'll get to him. But
Hmm.
yeah, Axan Morgan definitely a pushover. But comparative to the average Joe, right? Even this
Yeah.
weaker guy, right, is able to oppress this entire village to the point where
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
he's putting people to death, and it's just him using his power and his status
Hmm.
and his control over these Navy people, these
Yeah.
seamen to take over the town. So yeah, like keep that in mind. Like
Hmm.
people like that, we don't like those guys in One Piece. Like people like
Yeah.
that are 100% the villain, and people with that mindset are 100% we're against those
Yeah.
guys.
And they have my boy Zoro.
Yeah, you get to see your boy Zoro. That's one. That's another guy.
Yeah.
I
That's
think I want
dope.
to talk about. That's a big talking point. So him and Luffy, they kind of hit it off pretty quick after he frees him, right? Like I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both pretty straightforward, and I think that's what makes them pretty good partner, like
Yeah.
teammates, like crewmates.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah. I agree.
Zoro,
I agree.
yeah. Like he I feel like if Luffy was in the same position, he would have done exactly what Zoro was. Like they had him tied up, and the
Uh-huh.
kid, the Axan Morgan's son,
Oh
had
yeah.
told him, like, yeah, we'll
If you
free
last
you.
here a month. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you
Yeah.
stay here a month, I'll free you. And
Like okay.
Luffy would have done the same thing. Luffy would have been like, all right, I trust you. I take you by your word.
Yeah.
And even
Hmm.
after like he stomped on the rice bowl, and threw
Hmm.
the kid over the wall, he's like, yeah, like I trust him. He's just very like
Yeah.
transparent, straightforward. Doesn't really
Hmm.
have any any other
Hmm.
like biases or qualms to that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think him and Luffy are a lot alike in that regard.
They
And
are like Zoro, like I said earlier, like Luffy, he doesn't have that thought bubble.
yeah,
Zoro at least still has that thought bubble where you
yeah,
see him like reasoning things in his head.
yeah,
But whenever he says something though, like it's still that same like blunt, like
yeah,
either like I'm gonna help you, get the hell out of my way. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like Zoro is a very
yeah.
straightforward guy.
He means what he says. There's no deception.
Yeah.
So we got two guys that are super honest, and
Yeah.
they worked great. And I like the scene where like Luffy, like the Helmeppo is the guy's son's name. So
Okay.
Axan Morgan's son is named Helmeppo. He's a recurring character, so keep that name in mind. He takes Kobe hostage, and Axan Morgan's in front of Luffy, and Axan Morgan goes to hit Luffy. And Luffy turns around and just punches Helmeppo, and Zoro's right there.
Right there. Yeah.
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 Zoro's like,
that was
hey.
cool. Yeah.
So like, without even knowing each other, within the first 5 seconds, they trusted. They had that much teamwork involved. They had that much trust in each other. So I really like that.
And there's already been moments with where I'm at now, where it's like as soon as Luffy says something, Zoro's like, "All right, let's do it." Yeah. He's like, "Okay,
it's done.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's do
Trust
it. Yeah.
his captain.
Sure. Like sure.
Yeah. Like they're both really working to like achieve each other's dreams. Like I think Zoro really wants to help Luffy become the king of the pirates, and Luffy really wants to help Zoro become the
greatest swordsman.
Greatest swordsman.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And Zoro's just so cool, dude. Like you gotta have like the 3 swords, the samurai swords, dude. Especially having the one white sword and the 2 black swords. Like
exactly.
I thought that was like,
and knowing what that one means was super cool. Like, and everything. Like his backstory.
Yeah, what do you think about her death? Like her death was super sudden. Like
it was like a falling down the stairs or something.
Falling down the stairs, right? Like there's tons of theories about that, dude. Like people think that like her dad killed her. Like there are tons of weird One Piece. There are tons of weird One Piece stories or theories that like go into that. But I thought his dream was cool too. Like Luffy got his dream, from seeing Shanks, and Zoro. Like his dream wasn't to become the greatest swordsman originally. It was just to beat his friend. He's like, I don't care if you're a girl. He's like, you beat me, so I want to beat you, right? That's my dream.
Right. But her dream was to be the greatest, though.
Yeah. I just thought that was so like innocent and just so pure. You know what I mean? And then the fact that like the next day she passes away and he's like, I told her I was going to become the greatest swordsman, so now I gotta become the greatest swordsman. That's now my dream. Since I can't beat her, I gotta carry it on. Keep her in mind too, because that's something that comes back to later. Like it's something that's full circle around.
Okay.
That doesn't happen till I think Logtown. I think you'll see something about like
Logtown.
that.
So that's where I go next, right? After Park. Okay.
I think that's where you go next.
Cool.
So you'll learn something about that. It's just teasing you on that. So after we beat Axan Morgan, we leave Kobe behind, right? He joins the Marines. Luffy, basically goads him into hitting him so that he can join the Marines scot free. Like they don't think he's part of a pirate crew. They recruit him and whatever. So then we move on to the Buggy arc, which there's your boy, man. Like
Buggy's funny.
Buggy is a great antagonist, dude. Like he's very funny, and just his whole demeanor is really really goofy, really funny. So it's our first like semi-serious villain. Like he's our first like serious pirate, and we like he's I guess he's the first pirate that's not Alvida. Like I mean, our first pirate.
Well, and he's our first our other person with a devil fruit too.
So we lost you there. We lost you there for a second.
We're back. Okay. We're back. We were talking, right? We were talking about Buggy though.
Yeah.
And him, like we first see him and like I thought he was using the Force. Like the Force choke.
Yeah. Like I thought that was super cool. He looks super menacing when you first see him, and then he just becomes he like devolves into this goofball that it's like a lovable goofball kind of thing. So he we find out he's got the chop fruit, right? We find that he can just dismember himself and do all this crazy stuff. We meet Nami. We meet our third member of the crew. She doesn't really like. So Zoro, he kind of denies that he's part of the crew at first. He's like, "No, I'm not going to join you," and then he ends up joining Luffy. Nami straight up's like, "I'm not going to join your crew, but we'll have a partnership, right?"
Yeah,
I don't know if
exactly.
you
Yeah.
caught that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so she doesn't join the crew, but Luffy's like, "All right, like we'll travel with you, right? Like I want
Yeah,
you to
exactly.
join
Yeah.
my crew." So that was interesting. She's a thief. She causes them problems. She basically ties Luffy up and gives him the buggy, right? We see the hard counter to Zoro. We think
yeah,
Zoro
hard
cut
counter. Yeah.
Buggy in half, and then
So,
he
nope.
gets
Never mind.
stabbed. Nope.
Yeah.
Buggy's like hard counter to swordsmen's, which I think is hilarious. Like some of the
Mhm.
strongest people in the series are swordsmen, and he's like a
Yeah,
hard
exactly.
counter guy. So we see him, we see his crew, we see the dude that's got the lion head. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
The lion.
His name.
Yeah.
And we see the swordsman guy.
Yeah.
The circus act guy. The sword. Yeah.
So that was like a really cool. Like those are some really memorable villains, and you'll see them. And I'm sure you've seen them in the cover stories.
Yeah, I've been seeing them all throughout the cover stories for the past like 50 chapters or however long. Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk about like Buggy more. Like he's definitely a recurring character. He comes back a bunch, right? But I wanted to talk like he was on the same boat that that Shanks was on, right? And we don't know whose boat that is at this point in the story, right? We don't know who their captain was. But Shanks was on the boat, so like theoretically, you think about it, and he should technically be just as strong as Shanks if you think about it, right? Like, but he's not.
Yeah.
Luffy beats him pretty easy, right? So, like, I thought that was curious. Lost you again, but we're back. We're back. So yeah, we were talking about Shanks and Buggy and how the differences in power. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about Buggy was like he's different than a lot of like one of the core themes in that arc was like that treasure is one of the introducing ideas is treasure is more than just gold and silver. Like there can be other things.
Anything can be your treasure. Yeah.
Right.
Like yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I feel like that's a core theme in One Piece as well. Is like there are things in the world that are that are treasure that to like a person that is just surface level, right? Looking after that gold and silver, like they wouldn't necessarily consider valuable, right? There's value to other things aside from gold and silver. And I wanted to bring that back to you and talk to you about the treasure that Goldie Roger left behind. Did that when you first heard that Goldie Roger like left a treasure right out there? Was your first instinct like gold and silver, or did you think it was like something else? Like, did you think it was like?
So, you hear treasure, obviously, yeah, you think about like money, all that kind of stuff. But, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if ever he's, speaking and like saying that monologue though. He like says though, like the One Piece will like make you king of the pirates, something like that, though, right? Or something like does he say it'll make you like ruler pretty much over the innocence or something or no?
Basically says.
I'll have to look up what he says.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different translations, but like one of them, the way I took it, let's look it up. Why not? What does Goldie Roger say? Let's find out here. Yeah, I think what he says is something of akin to like. Okay,
I got it.
You got it. Okay, what's he say?
Yeah. Well, first it's the narrator. Does the narrator matter in this one?
Yeah.
So he says, "Wealth, fame, power. Once upon a time, there was a man who had attained everything in this world, the Pirate King." You said so. It's not gold, it's Goldie. That's how you say it.
That's a spoiler.
Okay. Oh yeah. For that.
My bad. We'll call him Gold Roger.
The words he uttered before his execution inspired people all across the world, sailed seas. So my treasure, if you want it, I'll let you have it. Go find it if you can. I left everything in this world with it. Yeah. I thought it was kind of a weird way to say it, right?
Yeah.
Because he's saying, like it kind of sounds
different
odd.
Translations. Like there's the Viz translation, which I think when you read it, is Zoro's name Zoro or Zolo?
It's Zoro.
Okay, it's Zoro. Okay,
it's
so you're not reading the Viz translation. You might be reading like a fan translation or a different.
Oh, really? Viz. Says
Yeah.
as Zolo.
Yep, it's Zolo. And they swap R's and L's in a lot of the
That's
stuff.
funny.
So yeah, and I guess they didn't want like copyright with like Zorro, the masked dude from actual TV.
Oh yeah.
So his name's Zolo in that, and then there's a bunch of other weird translation things. But basically, he's like, my treasure. He goes, if you want it, it's right there. He goes, go
Yeah.
get it, right? Is basically what he's saying. He goes, it's right there. Go out and find it, but you'll have to travel the whole world to find it, right? So I in the anime, he says, I've left my treasure in one piece. You know, like that's another translation thing, but. I'd have to look at the original Japanese to like figure out exactly what they say. Like we can get a direct translation from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he basically says something along the lines of like, yeah, it's out there and it'll help you rule the world. Or if you find it, you'll be able to. There's some specific wording to it. You'll be able to like not conquer the world, but you'll be able to have the whole world or something. It's a treasure worth having the whole world for. Something like that. So like initially, like I thought, yeah, it's some big treasure trove. It's a pirate, right?
Yeah.
It's Gold Roger, right? It's probably a crap ton of gold somewhere on an island, right? So you think like X marks the spot, pirate. But like that's the first time when I was thinking like maybe the One Piece, the treasure that Gold Roger had isn't really. We don't know what it is, by the way. We still have no idea what it is, right? But maybe it's not gold and silver. Maybe it's something else. Maybe he's left something, some kind of I don't know, something out there that people are trying to find. And maybe because you know people it's been like what 20 years since from Gold Roger's death to when Luffy starts his journey. It's been 20 years since then, and nobody's found the One Piece. So maybe they're looking for the wrong thing. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super interesting. And, you know, so touching on that, I want to talk about Chow Chow, like Chow Chow losing his pet store. Made me cry.
That was his treasure.
And it gets burned down, dude.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
And getting beat by the lion.
Little Chow Chow, dude, fighting off everybody, right? And I don't know if you saw in the cover story, the two first mate and second mates are like walking away, like they're trying to leave the village. And the guy that has the lion actually has Chow Chow biting him on the side of his so Chow Chow's still alive, Chow Chow's still kicking, and he's getting his revenge on that guy. So go Chow Chow. So they steal Buggy, so they beat Buggy, they blast him off, they like tie up all his limbs and stuff, and then Luffy bazookas him into space, right, like Team Rocket. And then they leave to the next island, which I think is Syrup Village. I think that's Usopp next. So now we're getting into, we've got a thief, we've got our swordsman, we've got our captain, and we need to go get supplies, and they meet this guy named Usopp. Like, what was your first impressions? I know I talked to you about Nami. I guess I didn't get your first impressions on Nami. Like, what did you think?
First impressions on her was already like, okay, she's about swindling.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Legit, just a little thief. And just not like the wording of everything. Obviously, where I'm at now, I see what happens, right? But even back then, though, I could kind of tell, like, okay, I could see her like betraying them at some point for something, you know. But of course, it's anime though, right? It's manga though, right? So if this person is gonna betray them, they're probably gonna have like this really deep meaning, you know what I mean? Like meaning and like reason as to why they're just acting a certain way, right? And obviously, I've started to see that, right, with Arlong Park and everything. But yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, she's probably gonna betray him at some point. Yeah. And double cross him, you know, for like the money, you know, or whatever. Because that's all that she was about, for just the money.
Yep, and she let him know. She's like, I'm trying to get $100 million. Yeah, she said, I'm trying to get $100 million so I can buy this village. She betrays him once when we first meet her, and the only reason that she joins him is because it's advantageous to her. Yep. So she's just trying to get as much treasure as she can, and then she's out.
Yeah, she's out.
Yeah, so we know that about her. We know that about we know Zoro's ride or die. We think Nami's a little shaky right now, and then we meet our boy Usopp.
Our
the
sniper.
liar. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
liar.
like he's like Chicken Little, right? Like he's like the sky
Yeah.
is falling. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's this just character that loves to lie and cause problems. Like he's a problematic dude for whatever
He has
reason.
his little gang of pirates, the little onion
Yeah.
head and the bell pepper head.
Yep. The little kid, yeah.
Yeah.
There's little kids that are just idolize him, right? He's got his little
Mhm.
crew, and he's just he's bored on that island, so he's like making up stories of like being a great pirate and doing all this stuff. So like, what did you think of Usopp? So like, as when you first saw him, like you're like, okay, like he's a little annoying. I thought it's like, why is this guy?
Yeah,
like,
he's a little bit annoying. Yeah, he was in the sense closer to the kid Naruto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More so like annoying MC, just like loud, obnoxious, like for no reason, whatever, you know.
Definitely.
But then we start to learn more about him, right? And he does like go screaming, lying in the city, and it's annoying, whatever. But he also does go to Lady, what's her name?
Kaya.
Kaya, right? To Miss Kaya, right? And he's like telling her these stories, like to make her feel better, though. You know, so it's like a double-edged. Like, yeah, he is a liar, going through the city doing that. It's annoying, but he's also like, helping this girl feel like better about her situation, though.
Yeah, he's a good person. He like deep down, he's a good person, even though he lies and he blusters.
And then you learn more about him lying, though, with like his mom being sick and being like, "Dad's here." Like, I see his ship. He's coming home. It's just like, you don't have to lie to me. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God.
Yeah. There's always an emotional reason for it.
Yeah.
And Usopp's got a good one. But like one of the things that I really enjoy too is like he lies, and they're like super obvious lies. Luffy like believes them like 100%. Like he's completely fooled. Like anything that Usopp says, like Luffy's like on board. Like I remember there's that one point where they find Usopp at Miss Kaya's telling him the story, and they're confronted by I guess Kuro. So Kuro comes and is like, hey, like you're not supposed to be here. And then Zoro, Nami, and Luffy roll up, and then Kuro's like, who are these people? And Usopp's like, yeah, they're new members of my crew. And like Luffy, without even thinking, goes, yeah. And he goes, wait, that's not right. Right? So like there's like he's very quick on his feet. Yeah. He's a little too quick for Luffy, and I think that really really inspires Luffy.
I think one of the funniest things about that whole little arc, right, was the fact that Usopp kept wanting to be captain though too, and Luffy's like, no, like
no. No, like he's like, I'm your guy, I'll be your captain, don't worry. Luffy's like, nah.
They're like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's smart, he's quick-witted. And you see a lot more of like his strengths later on, but you do see his heart there. He really impresses Luffy. Yeah. And I think like he's actually like, people clown on him a lot, but I think I think Luffy saw him and realized that like he had a strength that Luffy didn't. Like Luffy can't lie. Luffy can't spin tall tales. He can't inspire people. He can't Usopp, he inspires people. Like he can inspire, he can tell lies, he can do all this stuff. He's kind of like a skilled orator, and Luffy's not that, right? And I feel like as a captain, he's like, okay, this guy's a good guy, and he knows how to talk, right? So if I ever need to like get out of a situation, like I can't lie, right? We've seen already, like Luffy, when Kuro and the hypnotist guy, Django.
Oh yeah.
Kuro and Django are at the bottom, and he looks up. He goes, "Oh well, if it isn't Usopp."
Yeah.
And Luffy goes, he goes, "Did you hear anything interesting?ing?"
And yes, we heard everything.
Luffy's like, "Yeah, we heard everything."
No. Yeah.
Usopp's like, "No, don't say that."
Yeah.
So I feel like he has that awareness that Luffy doesn't, even though he's like weak and annoying, like he does have his strengths.
Yeah.
So
another thing that I really liked about that arc too was seeing Yasop, seeing his dad with Shanks, and then seeing Luffy as a kid with his dad. That was really cool too.
I know, really cool. Right? Like a full circle moment. It's like it was almost like it was fated to happen. It's almost like, like I knew your dad. I ran into you on this random village. Like, let's go party, right? Yeah. So after all that's said and done, they beat the pirates. I thought the whole hypnotizing thing was really funny, honestly.
1-2 Django.
Yeah, when Django comes up and he's hypnotizing his crew. He's like, you guys are gonna get all your wounds are gonna be healed, and you're gonna get 10 times stronger.
Yeah, and
he
then
hypnotizes
Luffy
the
wakes
crew,
up.
and then he hypnotizes Luffy,
Yeah.
and Luffy runs down and just wrecks them all.
Yeah,
Like,
that's when he grabbed the whole front part of the ship and just
just slams it on
It was funny.
everybody. Just some really funny stuff, and I feel like this guy was so Kuro. He was probably so far out of all the villains we've seen, out of Axe Hand Morgan and Buggy and Alvida, like he's the one that gave Luffy like the most problems so far.
Yeah,
like he had that power where he could, what do they call it? Like I think they call it like the pussy foot or something like that.
I don't know what they call it. Yeah, I forget what they call it.
But they're like, he's got this thing where he can like dodge and move, and he's like, dodging Luffy.
And he has like the cat gloves, like the swords on each finger.
Yeah. So like he's a tactician. He's like a smart character, and I feel like Luffy just blunt force. Like it really challenged Luffy to think a little different. But Luffy's still super confident. Still puts the beat down on him. One thing I wanted to see if you noticed, back when they were giving Kuro's backstory. And he goes onto that naval ship and he kills all the Navy people, and he leaves one person alive. Did you catch who that was?
I didn't catch who that was. No,
it was Axe Hand Morgan.
Oh, it was.
And he hypnotized. So he had Django hypnotize Axe Hand Morgan to think that he caught Captain Kuro. So the reason people, this is a theory. Are you okay? Did you freeze? Okay.
No. I'm sorry. I was thinking
it's implied. It's implied that the reason Axe Hand Morgan is the way he is, like he may have always been a jerk, but the reason he is because Django hypnotized him to think he was like the greatest person ever because he caught Captain Kuro. So he was a jerk and thought he was like the greatest person ever, because he captured this awesome pirate, Captain Kuro. And that's what led him to be such a jerk as a Marine.
Okay.
Like become like a villain is because he's under Django's, hypnotism. So yeah, he broke his jaw. He's the reason he has the jaw. He's the reason he has, the hand. So I thought that was a cool first full circle moment.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. How that happens. So that's something I thought was cool. So after Usopp leaves, or not after Usopp leaves, after we beat Kuro, we get our new ship Going Mary.
Going Mary, yep.
Yeah. So what do you think of the design?
The design's pretty funny. I mean, it looks like that one dude's head.
Yeah.
Almost.
The guy's name was Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Mary, the dude has horns though, right?
Yeah.
So is he like a humanoid animal person, right?
He's like part human, part animal. We'll get into that later.
Okay, because I think he was the first person that we've seen like that at that point. Okay, he was, and now of course we have like the fish people, the fish men.
Yeah. So you got fishmen. There's animal people. We'll get into them later. There's like a specific name for them, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. So yeah, we leave with Usopp, and now we got our 4-man crew, right?
Yep, we got a ship.
Yep. So we got our 4-man crew in our ship, and then they get hungry, and they're like, hey, there's on our way to go to the Grand Line. There's a restaurant that's awesome that we've heard about. Let's go. And it's Baratie. And I think this is probably the one that you've talked to me the most about, that you've liked the most so far. Is that right? Like so far? Yeah. It's got a lot going on.
There's a lot. It was, I think, also at this point, maybe it was the same amount of chapters at Certain Village. I'm not sure, but it felt longer though too. Yeah. Maybe it was just because of how much jam packed, especially like the fight was, like the battle was, but it also just felt like it was a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely.
The other chapters, though.
Yeah, it's there's a lot going on in it, and you meet a lot of cool characters. Like you meet a lot of different people.
You finally meet Sanji.
Yeah, you finally meet Sanji, the boy, the suave gentleman. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to, what was your first impression? Like, I know we're talking a lot about it, first impressions, right? Like this is because we're introducing ourselves to the group. Like, so Sanji and Zeph's backstory, crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. That was cool.
yeah. I told you, like, I think I told you when you were reading it, like, in the anime they don't show that.
Him like hitting his leg off with the rock. Yeah.
He ate his own leg.
That's crazy.
He ate his own leg. He gave Sanji all the food. Like, he's just a good guy, right? He's like one of those dudes that, like, you know, he saw the writing on the wall. He's like, if it's me or this kid, the kid's got to survive, and I'm gonna do what I can to survive. I'm not gonna give up my life, but I'm gonna make sure that this kid stays alive as long as he can. So that was super cool. So I guess Sanji feels like he's indebted to Zeph, right? So he doesn't want to join Luffy at first. We meet Gin. We meet another a-hole Navy guy, right?
Yep.
So the Navy is like consistently there. It seems like there's good people and bad. There's good pirates and bad pirates.
Yeah. The Navy guy was funny. What was his name?
I can't remember. I think
it was not Fullmetal.
Full body.
Yeah, it's full body something. Yeah. I don't know, but he was pretty funny though. Him and Sanji's exchanges were funny at the beginning, and then like the panel just like switches, and he's like just like holding him up, bloody.
Yeah. Like with the fly in his soup, he places the fly in his soup, and he's like, "Hey, I want this for free." Yeah. Sanji's like, "Nah." But you know, he's another one that's like he's humble, right? Customer's always right kind of thing. Like, I'll take care of it kind of guy. Just wants to feed you, right? Like, what did you think of his dream of finding the all blue?
I thought it was cool. It was one that made sense with him being a cook, right? Yeah. And I like how Oda, right, is like shaping up the crew with like their goals or dreams, right? It's like all in a sense, almost like going to the Grand Line is how you're gonna obtain what you want to get or what you want to do or what you want to become. And the best way to do that though is like being part of a crew though. Yeah. And like going there together though. So I think that's cool how it's not so much just like, hey, we need a cook, so we just got this guy, but it's also like his purpose that he sees in himself is also like intertwined to where they're all going though, in a sense. Yeah, definitely. They're all like, they all have dreams that are leading them toward the Grand Line. At least at this point in the story, we've got Luffy's dream. We've got Luffy's dream to become king of the pirates. He's got to go to the Grand Line to do that. Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman. There's going to be really strong swordsmen in the Grand Line, so he's going to go there. And we see what happens soon. In this arc, that also encourages him to go to the Grand Line even more. Yep. So you got Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman. You got Luffy that wants to do that. You got Usopp, who just wants to be a great warrior of the sea. He wants to be a brave warrior. Yeah, like his dad. Yeah. Right. So he's got to go to the Grand Line. We don't know about Nami yet. Right. Yeah. And then we get Sanji, who wants to find the all blue. Right. And we don't know what that is. It's like all the seas converge. It's like, where is that going to be? Right. Yeah. And the only place you can think of is like where everything's really weird. Yeah. Right. In the Grand Line. Right. And people have been telling them legends and stories about this place, and now they want to go see it for themselves, which more power to them, right? So they Straw Hats show up, the Navy's there, this guy Gin shows up and asks for food. They feed him, right? And he turns out to be a member of the Dawn Creek Pirates. So they really hype up Dawn Creek, don't they? Yeah, they hype him up all right. Yeah, they hype him up, and he's supposed to be this real bad dude, and then he comes up, and like 5 of his ships get like one shot by this dude in a little dinghy, right? We get to see the man himself, the actual greatest swordsman, Mihawk, show up, right? Dude, Which that was crazy seeing him show up, because he was a character that just like lore wise, right? I've heard of him even before reading this, right? Yeah. Same way I'd heard of like Luffy, Zoro, like I'd heard of Mihawk before, right? And how it was like he was the greatest of the swordsmen. So seeing him, like I actually had no idea that he was coming in this early. Right. I thought it wouldn't be till like way after, or like post like the time skip or something, where it's like we see him or something. But like seeing us, I was like, oh crap! So we're gonna see him in this story. So I think he initially just like comes by and they're like, oh, it's that guy again. And for whatever reason, they just try to shoot like bullets at him, and he just like takes the sword and like angles it, and just like
Yep.
flicks them off.
Yep.
He's like, I really don't have time for this.
Yeah.
He's like, and they're like, I think I forget if they said something like, why are you here? Why'd you chase us all this way? And he's
Yeah.
like, because I was bored or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know. Yeah, there's something smart and funny.
He chased them all the way from the Grand Line back to East Blue just to
and
wipe them out.
And he's on the little tiny ship.
Yeah,
like his candles lit and everything.
Yeah, he's on like a little dinghy, right?
Yeah.
He's on like with a big old chair, right? He's just chilling in the water. So I thought that like he's just aura, right? Just aura farming.
Complete,
coming in. But Zorro, even after seeing all that, even after seeing him cut ships in half and dodge, block bullets with a little knife, right? Zorro's still like, Zorro still wanted the smoke. Zorro's like, here's my chance. Like, my dream could end right here. Like, I beat him right now. I don't have to. It ends for me. I can help Luffy do his thing, right? So what do you think was going to happen in this fight? Like, I know you. Probably,
I knew he was going to get his ass beat.
Yeah, you knew.
I was like, hey man, this is only chapter like 50 something, 60 something. I was like, oh yeah, bro, you getting your butt beat.
No,
this dude just took out ships.
Yeah, right. Like he takes out a couple battleships. Zoro still wants to smoke. Zoro's still fighting it, still after it.
I liked that fight though a lot because it wasn't so much of only like, hey, I'm gonna beat your ass, but it was like at first it kind of was because he only took out the little knife.
Yeah.
He didn't even draw his actual sword. He's just like, hey man, I'm just gonna use this.
He says something like, "I don't hunt." He goes, "I don't hunt rabbits with a shotgun or something." Like he says something crazy. Like that. Yeah.
And then like Zoro comes at him obviously with all three, and he just like blocks it with like a little Peter Pan knife, I was like, oh shoot. Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, and then obviously what happens from there? He just like completely demolishes him, but with Zoro being like, hey, like I'm not gonna give up. Like I'd rather die here with honor than like just like give up and say, okay, like you beat me and go about my way. I'd rather like die right here, right now. And Miyako like, okay, like I respect that though. At least from like swordsman to swordsman, I'll do that. And I think at that point though, he had actually also like drawn his sword and was like, I'll give you a quick death if I promise.
Pulls out. So that's a named blade. That blade's named Yoru.
Okay.
So it's a special blade. And we'll learn about it later.
Okay. But I figured that it might be special because it's black.
Yeah. The black blades.
Than just a regular sword. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for that. The black blades. They explain that a little bit in Logtown. You'll learn a little bit about it. But now Zoro, like after this fight, Zoro's 2 out of 3 of Zoro's swords break. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. He only got the one.
That stays. So keep that in mind as well. Like there's actually there's different grades of swords, right?
Okay.
And I think there's like supreme grade. There's like 4 or 5 different tiers of swords. And I think the white sword that Zoro has is either right below that. It's either tier 2 or tier 3. Like it's a good blade. It's a really rare blade. So it's cool that he's got that. He kind of keeps that sword the entirety of the thing. But he's got it in the next coming arcs. He's got to find some sword somewhere. So we'll see what he grabs. So Baratie, I thought it was a really good arc. We got introduced to Mihawk. We got introduced to Don Krieg.
And that fight was epic. Fight was epic, yeah.
And it's cool, right? Like he used all the tricks in his bag, and Luffy still, came out on top. He had all the armor. He had all, in the anime. I don't know if I can't remember if they say it in the manga, but all that armor is made of gold. Like it's like he's like blinged out. Like Don Krieg is he's very outwardly like. He outwardly he's like show off basically.
Yeah, flashy.
Like he's got all the tech, he's got all the bling, and he thought all of that could carry him through the Grand Line. Just goes to show that you can have fleets of ships, you can have hundreds of pirates, but for some reason there's something about the Grand Line like if you're not super well prepared,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get dumpstered, right? And
Yeah.
that's something to keep in mind there too, which I thought was first time reading it for me, I was like, I really want to go there. I want to see what it's all about, you know?
Yeah, because like we're seeing him fight, and obviously up to that point, he's the strongest dude that we've seen, that we think, right? At least is Don Krieg, right? So we're seeing him with all the gadgets, all the little spears he's shooting at Luffy, and like hitting him with every time. He's got the MH5 gas that he lets out. He got just all these different things. One thing that I really liked about this fight too was that I appreciated that it wasn't just like a regular setting fight. It was like, hey, they're in the middle of the water. All these ships are just like broken. There's like drifts, pieces of wood. It's like people here, people that, you know what I mean? Like it was very cool in a sense. It wasn't just like, hey, we're all just like in the city, in this alley fighting. It was like, there's like driftwood here, ships broken here. There's people there on this one, like, you know. So it was cool seeing like everybody just all around like fighting.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That is, and you know, it adds like extra danger for Luffy too, because if he falls in the water, swim, like he's done. He's done. So he can't swim. So we've seen Luffy in the water at this point. Yeah, he gets thrown into the water a little bit this time. So you kind of see what happens to Devil Fruit users when they fall into the water. So they kind of get weakened and you know, can't swim, and you know, like their kryptonite basically, to put it into DC terms. So we saw Don Krieg. So Sanji bows to, after Don Krieg's beaten, Sanji bows to Zeph.
Yeah.
Super emotional moment.
Super cool moment.
Thank you. Right. All the chefs, they salute him. They see him off. He finally joined the Straw Hat crew. Very emotional. Very emotional. So that leads us to like right about where you're currently at. So I want to take this time to like just ask you, like, at this point in the story, like, how are you liking it so far? Like, what has been your favorite part of the story so far?
I would say so far I am liking it a lot, mainly because I really enjoy, at least for what it is right now, right? I really like the pacing of it.
Okay.
How we're going, kind of like from place to place in a sense. Something's happening, like we're building out the crew. Obviously, I took a look at the chart of all the arcs, you know. So I do see that some of them get long.
Yes.
Like some of those are like 70 chapters, right, or whatever. Yeah. So they are longer. But I like where we're at right now with how we're just building out the crew, though, kind of, and like getting ready to go to the Grand Line and like really start this big adventure. So I'm liking it a lot. I like the crew members. I think they're all funny. I think it's really cool. Okay. They all gel well together too, which I think is good. And another thing with this one too is this one really does just feel like a breath of fresh air, right?
It's great,
especially compared to like the other manga or any other thing, right? It just feels like something totally different and totally different. So I like it a lot.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and like that's one of the reasons like I really like One Piece as well, is it's so different than a lot of the other stuff you read, right? Like it's like from another world, right? It's like and there's a lot of like old Japanese references that I don't get, that I have to research and figure things out as things go on. You'll see like niche references to Japanese culture, which is really cool. The world building in this series is unlike anything I've seen. Yeah, it's almost like akin to like DC and Marvel comics, where like they'll go into the world building and figure out like how these heroes interact, right? Where like One Piece is like its own contained thing, and like he's got his world, and he's used this 1,157 at this point chapters to kind of flesh out that world. And you really get an idea, like as you read, you'll kind of get an idea of what the political climate looks like, and just how all the different characters in this world kind of commingle and interact, and how it causes all these
because I think I told it to you on the phone, was how we've already heard I think several people mention like the government like, as I'm reading it, right? And then we actually had one of I forget their names, the brothers, the other two swordsman guys that hang out with Luffy and them for a while. Like they mention whatever the 7 special members are, right? What are they called?
Yeah, 7 warlords of the sea is what they're called.
Yeah, like how they
Yeah.
mentioned them and like how like they're basically pirates for the government. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where some of these things go in the future.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you will. All that stuff pays off. So there's never like a plot. There are plot threads that kind of disappear for a bit, but Oda so far has picked pretty much all of them up. Like it's
It's cool. Yeah.
the 7 warlords, they get touched on, and there's stuff in the future that you'll get introduced to now in these early arcs that pay off in the later arcs. The way I look at it is all of the pre-time skip stuff is a prologue to the post time skip stuff. Post time skip is kind of where like all the stuff that's introduced in the first half of the story pay off, and you actually get to see like real
kind of like
stuff happen.
kind of like Shippuden.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's just a long build up to really what happens in Shippuden.
Exactly,
which is what really matters in sense.
Yeah. And a lot of people can start at the time skip, right? They'll lose a lot of like the emotional impact, but like you can still go into it post time skip and get a good idea of what's going on. Of course, you'll be confused as to like who some characters are and who they are, or who's important, who's not important.
Yeah.
But you can figure that out as you go along. But yeah, it's a prologue, and you're better off for reading it. I can't wait. Like looking forward into the future for you. Parks that I can't wait for you to get to. Obviously, I want you to finish Arlong Park, right? Because that's like
this is cool so far. It's cool.
It gets even cooler. I know where you're at. You're right when Nami betrays everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They meet up with her, and Luffy's like, "Hey, I'm going to sleep right now." He's like, "I'm taking a nap. I don't want to do anything right now."
So there's that. There's something else that comes up. And remember what I said about people want to. He only helps people who want to help themselves.
Yeah.
So that's a theme that comes up in Arlong Park. I want you to. I can't wait till you get to Marineford. Obviously, like Marineford.
I heard of that one.
That's like. I recommend watching a lot of the Marineford fights in the anime, because that's like when cool stuff starts happening. I can't wait for you to get to Saboti. Alabasta is a great one. I want you to get to Skypiea, because then we can really talk some lore. Like Skypiea is a really good one.
I've heard of that one a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking so I just want to get your
thoughts. Water 7.
Water 7's a really good one. That's another fight that you need to watch too. Is the main fight in Water 7. There's a lot of good stuff, dude. Like you got so much good stuff coming to you, dude. Like I'm kind of jealous that you get to experience it for the first time, because some of the stuff's really impactful. Like I think about it, like I'm curious to like see how you react to it. As like you're 28 and I was like probably 12 when I read the arcs for the first time. So I'm curious to see what you think about it. But like even as I think it might just be nostalgia. But like me even reading these, because I'm trying to read it with you, right? I'm about where you're at. I just finished Baratie, like rereading. So like just reading some of the old stuff, like it really does give me like nostalgia.
That's cool.
Like, I'm really enjoying it looking back at it. So I'm excited about that. We're almost we're like an hour and 10 minutes into this, right? So
about an hour and 10.
So I think it's time for a little bit of a wrap up. Like we'll kind of so if this does well, I mean, I love talking to you, dude. So I mean, like
we can keep this thing going. Yeah, we'll finish. I'll keep reading through Arlong Park. I think Logtown, right, is next.
Yeah,
Logtown, and we can probably, I think you said, just make a video based on those two, right?
Logtown's a really good one too, dude. Like we can, we'll do the next time.
Yeah,
we'll do
I'm looking at the chart right now. So we got the rest of Arlong Park, and then Logtown, and then after that we're to Alabasta, whatever that one is. So cool. So we can after I finish these two, and then we can do another video on those two and kind of get, I guess, thoughts going into this next big arc.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm liking that. And then Alabasta, like, it's its own video. Like we got to talk about Alabasta just by itself.
Yeah, that one's long. I mean, it's long. It's from 101 to 217. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be a long one.
that's a long one.
All of those. Yeah.
That'll be a video in and of itself. Maybe we can do like a halfway checkup on
Well,
that.
these first chapters are short, right? Like
Yeah.
Reverse Mountain is only like 4 chapters. Whiskey Peak is like um okay. Whiskey Peak looks like it's only like 8 chapters. That one's short. Um, Diary of Kobe Meppo.
Oh, see,
That's not familiar.
Kobe, and Helmeppo. Told you to remember those 2 names.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. I think the longest one. This one is actually the last one. The actual Alabasta like arc, like inside of it though, is the very last one, and that's 155 to 217. So that's that one's pretty good length. Yeah. That's the very last one though.
Okay. Well, we'll see where we're reading, and then we'll just kind of we'll get videos based off of wherever we're at that point. But before we go though, let's talk about your predictions. Like, what do you think? Where do you think the story's heading? Like, what do you think?
Well, with me being where I'm at, with like halfway through Arlong Park.
Yeah, well, yeah, with you being halfway through Arlong Park, and then just all the other stuff that all the other One Piece knowledge you have. Like, where do you think the story's going?
Well, I'm trying to think. They still have some other members of the crew to get, or is it pretty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think we'll keep filling out the crew, but I think right now, main thing that I see, just because we're dealing with it so much, is just like helping, like to a certain degree, in whatever way it happens, right? Helping Nami though with Arlong and her trying to get, obviously, with Luffy helping people, right, with like freedom in a sense, though, or just like help with, in general, right? I think that he could help that village and then Nami get out from under the control of Arlong, to where she doesn't feel like she has to obviously save all this money to like buy the village in a sense, because if he's no longer there, then there's nothing to buy, right, or whatever. So she would kind of be like undebted in a sense, right, or whatever you want to call it, and then I think from there she would like join the crew, and the crew would keep going and keep filling out the numbers, because obviously throughout the years, like I said, I've seen a lot of the people, so I really still have a couple of them to get to or whatever.
Yeah,
but
you keep asking me about Nico.
I'm excited for the journey. Her, the Bones guy.
Oh yeah, Brooke.
Brooke. Yeah, Brooke. Yeah. And then Chopper.
Yeah.
Right, Tony Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know there's still some more to go.
Yeah, there's one other guy. Yeah, a couple other guys that they get, but so.
Oh yeah. That's good about Nico Robin, because I thought that's who Buggy was with in the chapters.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think that she came in this early or whatever. And you were like, that's not her. I was like, she looks like that.
Yep. Yeah. See, that was actually Alvida. So she ate a devil fruit. That's kind of like a little hidden Easter egg. Like she comes back later, right? And you realize it's not until later that you realize that was Alvida. But yeah, she eats like the slip fruit or something.
Yeah. And looking back, I could have seen it now based on the outfit and with her ship, like the hearts or whatever it is, right? Like the stuff. Like I wasn't thinking that deep into it though.
Yeah,
whatever.
Like that's what I mean. Like a casual reader, like unless they're like really looking at the art, like they really wouldn't, see it, right?
Definitely.
But looking back on it, like it's a cool little Easter egg, and it comes back into play. There's a lot of like that stuff like that. Like as you read more, the more you go back, and I think that's a sign of a good story. Is like the fact that you're able to like read, and then the more you read, the more impactful the stuff you've already read becomes. Like you can go back and you can still find things in it. So I think that's really cool. So I think you're pretty good on your predictions here. We're gonna see how they turn out next episode. So we'll remember what you thought there. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. One other question, and this is the final question I have for you before we wrap it up. Favorite Straw Hat so far? Who is it? Slim Pickens.
It's Slim Pickens right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably just say Zoro.
Zoro, dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
100%.
He's cool. He's cool.
Zoro.
He's funny. He's cool.
you can't beat the swordsman, dude. Like he's just
Yeah.
he's always got to get handicapped in some way. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah,
Like
he always gets like shot in the
yeah,
ribs and like stabbed in the ribs or
yeah,
something.
he's always got some kind of handicap and still whoops people, right?
Yeah.
So that's I love that about him. I love too that he's just so like blunt and straightforward. Like he's just a cool character.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good to hear, man. So I guess that does it for our first episode. What do you think? You want to call
First
it?
episode, man. Yeah, first episode.
All right, brother. Well, this has been
Yeah,
awesome.
I think we're at a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Full Metal Podcast Brotherhood, dude. Right on it. Join us next time, guys, for the next episode. We're going to talk about Arlong Park and maybe a couple other arcs afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed being here with us. Mike, you got anything to say?
Yeah. So thank you anyone who tuned in. It's obviously our first video and everything. So we're going to keep this going through all the 1,000+ chapters of this story. So sit tight, buckle up. We're going to be going through them every so often and everything. I'm going to try to keep reading as much as I can every single day and everything. But yeah, I'm having fun, talking just with my brother about something that we're both passionate about, though, as far as anime and manga.
Yeah, man. Same here, dude. And I could talk about that. I could talk about One Piece all day. So I could be here for another 4 hours. I don't want to talk you off. But one other thing I wanted to say, I'm repping my Static Shock shirt.
Oh, yeah.
My Static Shock shirt from Mike's Domain at Mike's Domain on Instagram. Go check that out. He's got some awesome stuff here. It's this guy's shirt. So
thank you, brother.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll talk to you later, Mike. It's been a pleasure, brother. And I'll see you next time, man.
Peace.
Later.